Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Altcoin Buzz Trading. I'm Randy. Today we're going to be discussing internet computer, Bitcoin as always, and I want to talk about how technical analysis can help with your fundamental analysis when analyzing whether you should purchase something or not. And then as always, stay tuned for your TA tip of the day. Let's get to it. Let's get to BTC, which isn't looking super hot. We're getting a little bit of support right now as we're kind of bouncing into these recent lows. But as I'm speaking, the stock market's going to open in about 36 minutes from right now. I'm recording this at 5:54 in the morning Arizona time. We're getting a hammer candle on Bitcoin's daily chart right now. If I go to the 2-hour time frame, we've been trying to move lower over the weekend a little bit, leading into earlier today when we started curling up. Like I mentioned, the daily's turning into a hammer. We could come back into this area here where we've been in Shopsville now going on a longer period of time. Living underneath of this really puts us in pressure of breaking the trend and moving lower with the continuation of lower lows and lower highs in the daily time frame. So moving back up into this could stall us from doing that for as long as we're in this trend line. We move above this box, we can see we definitely found some resistance. So this is basically like the kill box. You really can't do much in this box. You've got to be outside of this box. Otherwise, you don't have a real market edge. If you're trying to short out of this, we've been taken out multiple times. You try to go long out of this, you've been taken out multiple times. So this is not a time to be playing hero ball. If you do want to counter trend trade this, you can try to go long. But again, these are more advanced trading strategies that people tend to have done many times before. If you want to try to start with really small position sizes. But by my estimation right now is if we do bounce back up, we need to get through this level here at about 26,300 before any healthy longs can be taken, even though recently they all haven't worked out. What I would be doing right now is just waiting. I would wait for the breakdown or wait for a more firm break up right now because it's just too choppy. It's just way too choppy. And also the trading is very small. This whole range is less than 2% wide. It's hard to really make great trades with only 2% unless you're sitting at the computer all day long. If you don't want to be doing that and you want to take trades that last a couple of days to a week or so, which is typically what we do, then you want to be waiting at this moment in time. Unless we reverse down and continue living underneath of this, and then you can keep your eyeballs open for bigger shorts as the volume increases to the downside. All right, next up I want to look at ICP. Again, we've kind of been looking at this coin for a couple times at this point, and this trade, because keep in mind we haven't entered this trade yet. Your entrance was here, but right now we're actually squeezing up. We're squeezing up here. So right now, let's just say our entrance is at the 325, 326, give or take, right? 325.8. If we fail up here again, in other words, think of it like this. If you already entered this trade and this is your stop loss, right? You're getting a little bit nervous because you don't want to get stopped out. But the trade hasn't negated itself yet. So as we're up here in this upper echelon, getting really close to this stop, you're about 1.4% away. What you got to ask yourself is that, are you willing to take a little bit of risk, a 1.4% risk, to enter up in this area, okay? If you liked this trade, then now keep in mind, let's back up a little bit. Maybe some of you guys haven't seen the other video. This is an inverted cup and handle. And keep in mind, by going through all the charts this morning, there's about 15 of these around the market right now. As a matter of fact, Cardano has one as well. There's a bunch of these inverted cup and handles, implying that we're likely to head lower in the foreseeable future after this, when this move breaks. So we're moving closer to our stop loss. So if you decide to get in here, what happens is you have a 13-to-2 risk-reward ratio, and your risk is only 1.36%. So you have a trade from 3.30, which is where we're at right now, to 3.346 is your stop. Not too bad. Not too bad at all, as a matter of fact. And then, your reward is all the way down here. Now, if we take a look at a lot of the trades that we've talked about over the past couple of weeks, a majority of them actually haven't worked. This market's been very choppy, and a couple of them have worked, and they've more than made up for what those other trades have lost. And that's the whole point of getting these really high risk reward trades, is that when you win pretty big. And then when you lose pretty small. And they offset each other. And then if you get with the trend, and if you take enough of these, they end up going in the right direction because you're with the market, you're trading with the market direction, which is very important. And we'll get to that in a second when we talk about how TA can help your fundamental analysis, right? All right, which actually leads us directly into your TA tip of the day. It's almost like I'm a professional, even though I'm not. Horizontals. Horizontals on a chart. When you're looking at a chart, I just drew a big downward sloping trend line. Before that, I drew a horizontal trend line. Now, as you can imagine, there are only two types of trend lines. Well, three types of trend lines you can draw, but one really isn't a trend line. You can draw a diagonal trend line, or you can draw a horizontal trend line. Okay, now I do want to give you a quick tip. If you click on the tool on the left side, which is the trend line up here, I happen to have it here in some favorites, duplicated. If you click on the trend line, you click on one point, let go of your mouse and do whirly birds, right? But if you want to snap it to horizontal, hold the shift button. I'm holding my shift button right now. It's snapping. It's going to snap at 45-degree angles. So you can get verticals or horizontals. Quick tip for you on that one on TradingView, obviously. But when it comes to price horizontals, they're much more seen. Most people don't know how to draw really good trend lines. It's kind of an art. Took me a long time to get it. Most people say, oh, trend lines are garbage. And I'm like, not my trend lines. Your trend lines may suck. Mine don't. Mine are very good. Most people don't know how to draw effective diagonal trend lines. But everyone knows how to draw a horizontal trend line. Let's draw a couple. Every swing high, you can draw a horizontal trend line. It's relatively straightforward. And each of these swing highs, it's called a swing high because you swing into it, then swing away from it, right? It's the end of the momentum. If you think of a pendulum, it's the end of the momentum. So you can draw there. You can draw it in some intermediate swing highs here. You can draw it here. Looks like I grabbed a straggler right there. So you have a lot of horizontals on this particular chart. We're just using this as an example because we're on it right now. But like I mentioned, in this chart, when it crosses this horizontal, that's when you can get interested in this asset. The reason being is because everyone will see this horizontal. If they decide to move above it, depending on the market cycle, and we'll discuss this as we go on, things tend to move through horizontals. And when they move through horizontals in a very bullish way, it's a better move. These diagonals get broken all the time because let's keep in mind, before we had this diagonal here, if I keep the chart like this, there's no diagonal anymore. Now I have another one. Okay, I'm just drawing it real quick. I could adjust that a little better, but this diagonal gets broken and then another diagonal takes its place. Usually when a good horizontal is broken, it's a key resistance point. And it moves very quickly during a good market cycle. Now, for in a bearish market cycle, your horizontals are lower, and when you break through them lower, they move lower. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you here today. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Drop a comment if you like these TA tips of the day. What'd you think about this one? I'd appreciate the comment down below, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time on Altcoin Buzz Trading.